A 90-pound German Shepherd sat in a shelter for 419 days. He'd washed out of a police canine program, and after that, nobody wanted him. 38 families walked past his kennel. Every single one kept walking. Too big, too much, a failed police dog with nowhere to go. Then one exhausted young dad signed the papers anyway. And 4 months later, at 12:50 in the afternoon, what this dog did proved every one of those 38 families wrong. Caleb Foster was 29 years old, a carpenter and the single father of a baby boy named Owen. His wife had left 8 months after Owen was born. No fight, no warning, just an empty closet and a note on the counter. Since then, it had been the two of them in a small rented house in Parker, Colorado, just off Parker Road. Caleb framed houses by day and warmed bottles by night. He wasn't looking for a dog. He was barely keeping the two of them afloat. But every night after Owen finally fell asleep, the house went so quiet that Caleb could hear the refrigerator hum, and that silence followed him from room to room. His sister Megan finally pushed him. "There's a German Shepherd at the Foothills shelter," she told him. "He's been there over a year. They keep calling him a failed police dog, like that's a reason no one should love him." Caleb laughed. "Megan, I have a 1-year-old. I can barely keep a houseplant alive." But on a cold Saturday morning, he went anyway, just to look. That's what he told himself. The German Shepherd was lying in the back corner of Kennel 11, his head flat against the cold concrete. 90 pounds of lean muscle, tan and black, with one ear that never stood all the way up. His name was Ranger. The shelter worker, a woman named Priya, told Caleb the truth. He washed out of police canine training in the final week, she said. They decided he was too soft. He wouldn't bite on command. He'd chase the decoy down, catch him, and then just stand there wagging his tail. A police dog that won't bite is a dog nobody knows what to do with. He's been here 419 days. We've had 38 families look at him. Everyone changed their mind the second they heard failed police dog. Caleb crouched down in front of the kennel. Ranger lifted his head. He didn't bark, he didn't whine. He just looked at Caleb with those steady amber eyes. And then he stood up, walked to the front of the cage, and pressed his huge head against the bars. One long, slow breath, almost like a sigh, almost like the word please. Caleb signed the adoption papers 20 minutes later. He had no idea he had just rescued the most loyal animal he would ever meet. The first week was pure chaos. 90 pounds of German Shepherd does not fit gracefully into a small rented house. Ranger tried to follow Caleb through the doggy door on the very first night, got his head and shoulders through, then stuck, back legs scrambling on the tile while the front half of him stared up at Caleb as if to say, "Help." Caleb had to grease the frame with butter to pull him out. The doggy door was retired permanently after that. Ranger had habits from the academy that he never let go of. Every morning before he ate, before he did anything, he made a lap of the house. Living room, kitchen, back door, then Owen's room. He'd nose the crib gently, confirm the baby was breathing, and only then trot back for breakfast. Caleb started calling it his patrol. He snored like an old furnace kicking on, so loud the first night that Caleb thought the heater was broken. And he had decided on his own that Owen's blue stuffed elephant was his responsibility. He carried it from room to room all day, set it down wherever Owen was, and got deeply offended every time Owen flung it across the floor. It was the meals that mattered most to Ranger. From the very first day, the rule was clear. Ranger would not touch his own food until Owen was buckled into his high chair. The second the straps clicked shut, Ranger would take his post, right beside the chair, chin resting on the edge of the tray, watching every spoonful travel from bowl to mouth like it was the most important job in the world. Caleb thought it was just begging at first. It wasn't. Ranger never tried to steal a bite. He just watched and waited and guarded. 3 weeks in, Caleb had the worst night he'd had since Owen was born. A job fell through, the rent was late. He sat on the kitchen floor at midnight, back against the cabinets, and let himself feel, for the first time in months, how scared and alone he really was. He didn't make a sound, but Ranger heard it anyway. The German Shepherd got up from his spot by the door, crossed the dark kitchen, and lowered all 90 pounds of himself down beside Caleb. He pressed his head into Caleb's chest and refused to move. They sat there together until the sun came up. That was the night Caleb stopped thinking of himself as the rescuer and started to understand it had been the other way around all along. Real quick, if you've made it this far and you still haven't subscribed, that stings a little, I won't lie. We pour everything we have into these stories. Hit subscribe and stick around, because what happens next is the whole reason I'm telling you this. But here is the thing nobody at that shelter ever told Caleb. Underneath the failed police dog label and that enormous frame was a brain that read people like a book. And Ranger had been reading Caleb and Owen since the moment he walked through that front door. As Owen grew from a baby into a wobbling toddler, Ranger became his shadow. When Owen pulled himself up on the coffee table, Ranger moved in behind him like a spotter. When Owen crawled toward the front steps, 90 pounds of German Shepherd was already there, lying across the bottom of the staircase, a soft furry wall that simply would not move. At the vet, Dr. Holloway watched Ranger position himself between the exam table and the door and shook her head. "I've worked with a lot of dogs," she said. "This one didn't fail anything. He just decided his job was protecting, not attacking." Caleb started posting little clips of the two of them. Owen napping with his whole hand buried in Ranger's fur, Ranger marching around with the blue elephant. One of them, Owen solemnly feeding Ranger a single Cheerio with the most serious expression a 1-year-old can make, hit 2 million views in a week. People in the comments kept saying the exact same thing, that a bond like this one will melt your heart. They had no idea how right they were. Stories like this are exactly why we keep making them, and if this one is reaching you right now, you are the reason. What none of those viewers knew was that the most important moment of Ranger's life was still coming, and it would, of all places, at that high chair he guarded every single day. Some stories are just too good to keep to yourself. This is one of them. It was a Tuesday in February, 12:50 in the afternoon. Caleb had just buckled Owen into his high chair for lunch, small, soft pieces of pancake cut up the way he always did. Ranger took his post beside the chair like always. Caleb turned to the sink to rinse out a bottle, just for a few seconds. His back was turned. And then Owen went silent. Not crying, not fussing, silent. A piece of pancake had lodged in his throat, and he could not make a single sound. His tiny hands clawed at the tray. His face was already starting to change color, and Caleb, with the water running, didn't hear a thing. Ranger did. The German Shepherd that failed his test because he would not attack on command did something no human being had ever taught him. He didn't bark. There wasn't time to bark. He spun around, slammed his entire 90-pound body into the back of Caleb's legs, hard enough to nearly knock him to the floor, then clamped his jaws around Caleb's jeans and pulled, dragging him backward toward the high chair. Caleb turned, and he saw Owen's face. He didn't think. He had Owen out of that chair in a single second, bent him forward over his arm and struck his back, once, twice, and the pancake shot loose. Owen sucked in a huge, ragged, screaming breath. It was the most beautiful sound Caleb had ever heard in his life. The doctors at the clinic in Parker said it plainly afterward. A few more seconds without air, and it would have been a very different afternoon. The same German Shepherd that failed his police training, the same dog that 38 families refused to take home, the same dog the entire world had labeled a failure, too soft to ever protect anyone, he had just saved Owen's life. Caleb sat on the kitchen floor for a long time that afternoon, Owen safe in his lap, Ranger pressed against them both, and he cried into the dog's fur. "You didn't fail anything," he whispered. "You were just waiting for him." Today, Owen is 3 years old, and Ranger is 6. The blue elephant is long gone now, replaced by a stuffed dinosaur that Ranger carries with the same devotion. Ranger still makes his patrol every single morning. He still refuses to eat until Owen is sitting at the table. And every single night, without ever being asked, he walks to Owen's door, checks the room, and lies down across the threshold like a sentry who never got the memo that his shift ended years ago. It turned out a tired single dad and a giggling little boy were the forever home he'd waited 419 days to find. The silence that used to follow Caleb from room to room left the week Ranger arrived, and it never came back. If a dog refuses to leave your child's side, don't call it clingy and don't call it too much. There is almost always a reason. They notice things the rest of us stopped being able to notice a long, long time ago. And if you are ever thinking about giving a home to a dog the world has already given up on, the too big one, the too much one, the one stamped failed and left in the back of a shelter, please do your research, prepare your home, and understand what you're taking on. Because sometimes the ones who failed every test the world set for them end up passing the only one that ever truly mattered. 38 families looked at a 90-pound German Shepherd and saw a failure. One tired single dad looked at the very same dog and saw a second chance. So tell me, was Ranger born a protector, or did one little boy make him one? Let me know in the comments. And if you have ever loved a rescue dog that the world wrote off, share their story below. Somebody scrolling tonight needs to read it.